Welcome to the Intercourse Show. I am your host, Mr. B. Today we have a very exciting show for you today. What can I say? The topic of discussion is definitely Caitlin Clark, and she's apparently ruffing some feathers. There's a controversy about a cheap basketball, um, low blow event that took place. One of the girls on the other team during their summer league play attacked her, essentially. The ball was out of bounds. It wasn't even thrown in bounds yet. The girl on the other team, who happens to be of African descent, just totally bulldozes Caitlin Clark and drops her to the ground. The WNBA officials at the time doesn't even call the foul, doesn't call it a flagrant, doesn't throw the girl out. And to be totally honest, watching the shot, it was a cheap shot. It was not a basketball play. The ball was not in play. She didn't have the ball. Somebody else had the ball, was going to inbound the ball to her. And before the girl could even turn around and stand on the out of bounds mark to throw the ball into her, this girl just came from behind without the girl even seeing her and ran the girl over and knocked her to the ground. Unfortunately, none of her teammates stood up for her, Caitlin Clark. That's another thing, because the girl inbounding the ball was also a black girl. And her rival, Angel Reese, which is a girl who played for LSU, they have a bit of a rivalry, was the teammate of the girl who ran her over, and she stood up and applauded. Almost to say she deserves it. Now, lots of controversy about this. It was a dirty play. Period. There's nothing to be said about it. I will be playing the clip and some of the controversy and conversation that's occurred as a result of this event, but it was just a dirty play. So race issue aside, it was a dirty play. Shouldn't have been done. The girl should have really gotten ejected out the game because, this is a young lady who's just coming into the league. Apparently she's marketable and she's driving their viewership numbers up. And rather than embracing the fact that she's bringing some energy, some awareness around the league, these girls feel intimidated about her. They feel like she hasn't earned her stripes. So now they're willing to take cheap shots. Now, it's one thing if you're not feeling a girl, but it's another thing if you're not even competing. You're just playing dirty. And that was just some dirty, low character, you know what I'm saying, move to make. If that was my daughter and that girl did that, I'd probably be out the bleachers. I'm not going to lie to you. So I can understand people's sentiment. Like, that's not cool. There was a Colorado Buffaloes football game with Travis Hunter, who's one of their star receivers. I think it was like the second or third game that they had. And there was a player for Colorado, a team that they played within their division, who hit the guy as he was going up for a pass. He was out of bounds. It was incomplete. And the dude ran out of bounds and hit him. That was a dirty play. The dude that hit him was a white guy, and then Travis Hunter is a black guy. So it's not a race thing. Dirty plays are dirty plays. I don't think there's any room in the league for that, right? If a guy's going up for a shot and you undercut him, so he lands and twists his ankle or twists his leg or break his leg or falls on his back, that's a dirty play. It's just dirty. Like this, it's not, we're not being cute. It's dirty. It's not, oh, she's not tough enough. The ball's not even in play. Like, it was an out of bounds play. It's not like she took a charge, or she went up, or you went up you know what I mean? Like, the ball wasn't even in play. And you bulldoze the girl like you playing football. And this is basketball. That's just dirty. Let's just say it for what it is. It's a dirty play. I want to make sure I preference this part of the conversation so that people understand that dirty plays are dirty plays, and they need to be called down the middle, irrespective of who's doing the dirtiness. Right? Now, with that said, For the people who's been bold enough to stand up and say that was a dirty play, you got a crew of girls, some of which reflect my color, who aren't happy about the fact that people are being called out for that. They're saying the girl's not tough enough. It's not about her not being tough enough. Cheap plays are cheap plays. That's what it is. So my view on this is that, anybody who could look at that play and try to justify it is not being honest. Period. If you can try, no, you're not being honest. It's a dirty play. You don't want that to be done to anybody on your team. You won't want that to be done to any of your family members. It's just no space for that. If you guys want to beat that girl, beat her by being better than her on that court. Cook her. Period. I mean, get your ball on and give her the business on national television. The right way, not by trying to hurt her and pretending to be some tough person. That's not what this is. And you know what? Unfortunately, to the young lady, I'm not going to use this opportunity to attack her. I don't know what her character is. I think she's a bit misinformed. There are people who's been there. I've never endorsed no haters. You know what I'm saying? If there's hate in your heart for somebody because they got the shine or because they got, the spotlight, and now you hating, you mad, it could happen to some of us. But you got to check that stuff before you get on that court, because you could really hurt somebody. And really, it's just a game. It's an entertainment game that more so benefits the overall league. The more people that watch, the more endorsements, the more advertising that comes in, and the more money they get to make. These girls complain about not having enough, not getting paid as much as the men, in part because the men bring in more viewership. They get more sponsors. They get more ads. So naturally, they get bigger contracts because there's more money coming in. You can't complain a league that's not profitable that you're not getting paid the same amount of money as the other players getting paid. And it's just not watchable, to be totally honest. And then you finally get a player who makes people want to watch, or who's making people interested. And rather than competing against her to make her better, to make the league better, to be better than her, doing cheap shots and taking dirty plays. I can't respect it. That's some hater stuff. I can't. I've seen a couple different clips, and we'll play a few. Matt Barnes said some stuff. He's like, yo, her team, Caitlin Clark's team's the suckers too. Facts. You can't have your franchise player get bullied and nobody stands up for her. What kind of team sport is this? This is weird, right? Same thing. When Jordan came into the league, nobody liked him. They pushed him around. But he took a struggling team and made them relevant. A team who couldn't sell out no tickets and sold out tickets. And he took the league from one place of mediocrity to one of the highest grossing leagues of today. And now, as a result of that man's contributions, as well as some other notable players, the Magic Johnsons, the Larry Birds, players can get $500 million contracts because somebody was the marketable piece that took the game on another level. This could be the case for this particular league. If they ride the curtail of this girl, her thing is she could shoot, kind of synonymously to how Steph Curry shoots. The girl's shooting shots from half court, and making them regularly. That's impressive. It's hard. People would tune in to watch that. Why would we be mad at that? You know what I'm saying? If this is a league that's going to put more money in your pocket. So y'all complaining on one hand that you're not getting enough money. And now you get somebody who's going to bring the notoriety into the league so that you guys can be more marketable, more watchable. And everybody mad at the girl for making more people care about the sport. I don't know. I feel a way about it. This is my little 10-minute runoff. We're going to get into the conversations, and we'll try to dissect the different backlash that's taking place as people take different sides. But there's a situation with Stephen A. when he brought somebody on his show to discuss what happened, and next thing you know, the girl turns on him. So there's a lot to discuss with this, but let's go ahead and get into it.
First Take has spearheaded diversity and equity. You have any idea how offensive it was for me to sit there and hear Monica McNutt say that about me when I'm the one who handpicked our roster on First Take? I'm in charge of content. I'm in charge of the contributors that are on the show. That would be me. Yet here we are on this particular day, and I am sitting up here, and I'm Google Alerts it is. Let me play for you the headlines. One headlines, USA Today, Monica McNutt leaves Stephen A. Smith speechless with real talk about First Take's WNBA coverage. That ain't real talk. That's the damn point. It's not real. It's false.
Man. So it's looking like Stephen A. Smith got McNutted on, man. And what do I mean by that? Well, Stephen A. Smith got put on blast and called out by his colleague, ESPN analyst Monica McNutt. You guys are probably more familiar with Monica McNutt on ESPN's show Get Up. Well, she was on ESPN First Take with Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp. They had a heated debate about the WNBA and the hard fouls on Caitlin Clark. But everything gets a context in today's video. So let's check out the clip right here. Here's the video.
Who talk about women's sports more than First Take?
Stephen A., respectfully, with your platform, you could have been doing this 3 years ago if you wanted to.
Wow.
All right, we got to go. You guys.
So did you say
You're my guy, but
who does more than
Stephen
us?
A., I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you.
Wow.
Don't do that. I'm talking to you about the power that you have.
Okay.
I'm talking to you.
Okay.
All right, let's.
You're my guy, but I'm talking to you.
Guys, I really appreciate
you my girl, but you've missed a lot of episodes of First Take. You missed a lot.
Stephen A., 3 years ago, you were not talking about the W at this level. Don't do that.
Guys.
Nobody was, Monica.
Guys,
you making Stephen A. point, Monica. Monica, you making Stephen A. point.
Probably,
Monica.
Yeah, what I was saying?
I know it's definitely.
Say it. No, Monica. No, don't parse words, Monica.
Say
I
it,
know
Monica.
You got to go in those locker rooms.
Shannon's
I
right.
know you
Say
cool
it,
with those
Monica.
women. Say it.
So do me a favor and let me finish.
Say
I
it.
got y'all.
Okay.
Okay. You're not gonna tell me what to say, Stephen A. I'm gonna talk, right? There is certainly jealousy. There's certainly a reason to prove yourself. But if it is as bad as you all are now perceiving it to be, this team is 11 games in, and this is the first time we're having a conversation about a non-basketball play. If it is as lethal and as nasty as the media has come to portray it. All I'm saying is Kennedy Carter, her behavior is not indicative of the entire league. And the blanket statements are where this thing is going. Let me finish. The blanket statements are where this thing is going left. There are a ton of women in this league that are going to compete at a high level and be good sports in this thing. This is new territory for everyone involved. As far as the Matt Barnes and the Uncle Shannon conversation about getting into fights and altercations, you mentioned Angel Reese. Angel Reese has always had her teammates back to that degree. Aaliyah Boston has been walking this thing out with Caitlin Clark closely. I know that her teammates love her and appreciate her, but if it is not who they are to jump up and start a fight, then maybe they can't afford to lose game checks potentially, y'all. A game check in the NBA is what we're talking about in terms of salaries overall in the WNBA. So I think I would like you guys, and we all should do a better job of having a conversation with a little bit more nuance. We all agree Kennedy Carter was wrong. We all agree there is some jealousy, but to your point, Stephen A., there is jealousy. To your point, it is still a prove-it league. what has been frustrating for those of us that have covered the league for years, you can go back to Candace Parker's rookie year. There's tape floating around on the internet. There has been physicality and welcome to the league moments. That's all. And so making a blanket statement about the women of this league is unfair. Is there jealousy? Yes. But is the league and are all of the players in the league hating on her? I do not think that that is accurate. And this is not a ballet performance.
First of all, hold on, Eminem. We got to have time. We got to have time to respond, Monica.
Do you?
We got to have time to respond to you there because you're saying a lot. You're saying a lot. You're saying a lot. You're saying it's. Excuse me. First of all, nobody said oil. That's number one.
No,
number two, we said to you, don't. We said to you, don't say probably. That's all we said. We said say it. It's not probable. That's all we did.
Hey guys, can you guys hold up? Can you guys put me on camera for 1 second, please? Can you guys put me on camera for 1 second, please? Everybody's talking over each other. Everybody's in different studios and we have delays. Can everyone just finish their thought? And then it's hard to do the back and forth when we're all in different places. So you're all talking at the same time and I can't understand anything that you're saying. So the viewers at home can't either.
Okay, so that's Stephen A. Smith getting called out by Monica McNutt live on ESPN First Take. Stephen A. Smith went on his podcast, like I said in the first video I did, covering this topic. I said, Stephen A. Smith making his face right here.
Okay, Fred, time to find our perfect apartment on Zillow. Don't worry, change will be good. Nice. Hey.
When he made that face, Stephen A. Smith is going to go into max ether mode on his podcast. And he got to get his get back. And he said that on his podcast. He said, if somebody irritates him, you should get your get back by irritating the hell out of them. And that's exactly what he did. He had fired off on Monica McNutt on his podcast about the topic that they had on ESPN First Take. So with that being said, guys, let's highlight what Stephen A. Smith said in response on his podcast. And before I get started with Stephen A. Smith's response, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, guys. Hit that like button for me if you haven't already. That really does help my YouTube channel continue to grow. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. Let's check out this clip right here.
As it pertains to what Molly said doing her job at that particular moment, naturally in television, got to get us to commercial break. Sometimes damn the commercial break. But that's a subject for another day. I'll deal with that. Here's the bigger issue. There's something that's going on and a lot of people run from it. But I'm not, because I'm not scared of these subjects. Doesn't faze me at all. To address Monica McNutt's point, I found it very unfortunate that she would say that. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the executive producer of First Take. You ever heard of Monica McNutt? You have now, because she's on First Take a lot. Shanae Ogumake, absolutely wonderful, spectacular basketball analyst, et cetera, WNBA player in her own right. Ask her how it's been to be on First Take. How about Andrea Carter, who's a rising star in this business? How much do you think First Take helped that? What about Kimberly Martin? What about Molly Kiram herself? Now, I have sat back for years and taken a lot of shit from people. Some who don't know what the hell they're talking about. Some who act like they don't know just because they want to get at me. I could care less about people getting at me. I just want you to be accurate. And it is highly offensive to me when somebody implies or flat out states, like Monica McNutt did this morning, which was factually incorrect. I challenge anybody to find a show in sports television that discusses women issues, that discusses the WNBA or women's sports, that highlights and profiles female analysts more than First Take. It's been going on for years. One of my producers here is a guy by the name of Galen Gordon, who used to be a producer on First Take. He was one of the people who spearheaded highlighting diversity. You as an audience don't know this, but Monica McNutt does. The James Dunn and the David McKinnons of the world and others. These are black men overseeing First Take. My boss, the HNIC, as they say, one of the executives, the top 3 executives at ESPN overseeing First Take is a black man by the name of Dave Roberts. We have black women. We have white women. Mina Combs, let me not forget to mention her. There's a female host on my show. Ain't nobody trying to let go of Molly. Before her, it was Kerry Champion. Before Numbers Never Lie came along with Jamel Hill, she's on First Take. First Take has spearheaded diversity and equity. You have any idea how offensive it was for me to sit there and hear Monica McNutt say that about me when I'm the one who handpicked our roster on First Take?
Want to make Earth happy? Book an amazing EV adventure with Turo. From peak luxury to rugged SUVs and budget.
Okay, so that's Stephen A. Smith responding to Monica McNutt on this podcast. And here's my opinion about it. I feel like Stephen A. Smith does what he always does when he get called out. He goes max ether mode and then he moves the goalposts. And that's exactly what he did. He moved the goalposts, made it about something else. He tried to add all of these other things around a topic, these little fillers, to try to make his point instead of just sticking with the topic and what Monica was talking about. And I feel like Monica McNutt was absolutely right what she said to Stephen A. Smith on ESPN First Take. ESPN First Take was not covering the WNBA like that 3 years ago. As a matter of fact, nobody was talking about the WNBA like that 3 years ago. It's a fact. The numbers prove it. The money prove it. The contracts prove it. Nobody was talking about the WNBA like that. So for Stephen A. Smith to go on his podcast and move the goalposts and make it about diversity at ESPN, he really just lost the argument, in my opinion. I feel like Stephen A. Smith just got emotional, went on his podcast, and he just tried to come up with something real quick instead of really going in the archives and pulling up some receipts and, just having a better argument to what Monica McNutt was talking about. He could have brought up some numbers and segments, and they could have made a quick compilation clip for him, but he made it like a personal thing to bring up race inside of ESPN and black men this and his boss is black and the diversity at ESPN and all of the stuff that he is doing, hiring people and putting other people on and putting other female ESPN analysts on First Take and telling Monica McNutt to ask them about that and how they feel about it. So, Stephen A. Smith definitely took it as a personal attack. And I feel like Stephen A. Smith silently made this personal with Monica McNutt to the point that we may not understand it, but if you're working alongside Stephen A. Smith and the stuff Stephen A. Smith was bringing up, Monica McNutt should definitely take that personal. And that's just my opinion on that, because Stephen A. Smith, in my opinion, was flexing his power to Monica McNutt. So yeah, that's just my opinion on it, guys. I would love to hear your thoughts about today's video. Be sure to get in the comment section down below. Don't forget to hit that like button if you made this far in the video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. Comment down new sub if you're new sub, and we out, guys. Peace.
Okay, that was one perspective. Shout out to the young brother who did this particular video. He had a perspective. I don't necessarily agree with his perspective. He said he agreed with Monica McNutt in terms of the fact that they weren't covering it. That's probably true, because people ain't been watching the WNBA. I mean, it's just the facts, right? Like, they're not moving seats. There isn't a star player like that that's standing out. There isn't, there isn't some standout talent that's, has been buzzing in the talk of the town so that everybody tunes in. Up until the point that this young lady got into the league, we weren't really talking about it at all, to be honest. So this man had a point of view, but it kind of puts things in perspective. Now, I'm also going to share some flip sides to this point of view. One of which is going to come from Jason Whitlock, of all people. Stephen A. Smith's nemesis, arch nemesis, comes and somewhat defends him against this girl for being disrespectful to him, contrary to what this young man just said. So let's go ahead and play that clip so y'all can see, a different, side of the story.
Whitlock, your host. Happy Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining me. Man, this show today is going to be awesome, amazing. Even if I do say so myself, Steve Kim, Shamika Michelle are going to join me. This is going to be the first of a two-part show on Caitlin Clark and what's going on with Caitlin Clark and the WNBA. If you have not seen, Caitlin Clark was knocked to the ground by a woman named Kennedy Carter in the Indiana Fever Chicago Sky game. Angel Reese has celebrated this, and all of this crap. So I want to just give you a foundational video, just in case you haven't seen it. I want to play, and guys, we only need to play about. Just play the whole clip of Caitlin Clark and what happened in the Indiana Fever game against the Chicago Sky. Play the clip. What you just watched was CC on CC crime. Kennedy Carter, she spells Kennedy with a C, some kind of funky way. Anyway, Kennedy Carter versus Caitlin Clark, the guard for the Chicago Sky. She's already been booted out of the league. She's like the Dylan Brooks of the WNBA. She's been booted off teams like twice. I think she was a high draft pick, but they can't control her. She has no control over her emotions. Two teams have stepped away from her for conduct detrimental to the team. And just so no one is all that surprised that Kennedy Carter has done something foolish and stupid here. But the reaction has been the most fascinating thing from Monica McNutt and all these other people talking about the WNBA. That's the fascinating thing that I'm about to get into. But before we do that, I want to thank our great friends at Good Ranchers. Good Ranchers. This episode is brought to you by our good friends at Good Ranchers. Use my promo code FEARLESS at goodranchers.com. And with your subscription, you can claim free bacon for life and support veterans this Father's Day. So do that. Now, I want to get to the reaction to this. It's set off a conversation that has engulfed Stephen A. Smith and has really engulfed the entire sports world. And so there's going to be two clips I'm going to ask for back to back. The first one, I believe, is McNutt with Stephen A. Smith. That's SOT number 2. And then McNutt went on Nightcap with Chad Johnson and Shannon Sharp and had more to say after she kicked off a controversy. But let's play SOT number 2 first.
We're talking about them maximizing their great potential. And because we bring that up and talk about what potentially might get in their way, which we do to men all the time, now we got to sit up here and watch every syllable. I resent that, and I'll leave it at that.
All right, so let me. I know we got to go to break. Welcome to the world of being a woman, Stephen A., and how you have to dance about your word choice and you have to please everybody and anybody as you navigate your being. We are talking about the world's greatest.
How about being a black man?
Being black.
Hold on 1 second.
Have you?
So this is what I'm saying to y'all, though, and I know we got to go to break, and we didn't necessarily go there. Maybe we should. There are so many layers in this conversation around the way that it's being discussed. When you no. And yes, Shannon, I know y'all are going to say and Stephen A., I know you just shared that you've talked about the WNBA on your program too. You guys may not have said everybody, but the prevailing sentiment for folks that are just joining the WNBA and following women's sports is unfair to the women of this league, to your point, who have laid the groundwork for Caitlin Clark to come in and now take it to the next level. That's all I'm saying in these conversations.
I'm going to stop the clip right here. And I actually rewinded this clip back. And I want to just point out Molly's reaction to this conversation. Now, apparently this conversation was dragging a little long, but Molly apparently was kind of over it. And I think a lot of people hear this type of bickering between black people and they're kind of over it. You know what I mean? Like, here's this lady who feels like she's got to speak on behalf of disenfranchised black women of America and throughout. And she's trying to tell off a black man who himself feels like the black cause in itself is the black man's issues are also not something that's highlighted. And now this conversation is taking place in the public square. And really, for people who are not black, this is the reaction that you'll find, i.e. Molly, putting her hand to her head as this bickering goes back and forth. And I think that happens too common. You know what I mean? Where she's, feels like she's representing a great point by standing up for, that point of view, which is the black woman's point of view. And Stephen A. feels like, wait, you're trying to tell me off on my own show. You know what I mean? And you have no respect for me as a black man. And Molly the whole time is like, I wish I was somewhere else right now. You know what I mean? I think we got to find better ways to communicate. This stuff looks crazy. All right, let's continue.
To dance about your word choice and you have to please everybody and anybody as you navigate your being. We are talking about the world's greatest.
How about being a black man?
Being black.
Hold on 1 second.
Have you?
So this is what I'm saying to y'all, though, and I know we got to go to break, and we didn't necessarily go there. Maybe we should. There are so many layers in this conversation around the way that it's being discussed. When you no. And yes, Shannon, I know y'all are going to say and Stephen A., I know you just shared that you have talked about the WNBA on your program too. You guys may not have said everybody, but the prevailing sentiment for folks that are just joining the WNBA and following women's sports is unfair to the women of this league, to your point, who have laid the groundwork for Caitlin Clark to come in and now take it to the next level. That's all I'm saying in these conversations. Kennedy Carter's behavior is not indicative of the entire league. We are still talking about competition where you are allowed to get a little extra elbow in if you are competing and you do it within the parameters of the game. The game is physical. Caitlin is helping to grow the league. These women understand that, but she cannot be babied as a rookie. That's all I'm at.
All right.
Who talks about the WNBA? Who talks about women? Who talk about women's sports more than First Take?
Stephen A., respectfully, with your platform, you could have been doing this 3 years ago if you wanted to.
Wow.
All right, we got to go to you guys.
So did you say
you're my guy, but
who does more than
Stephen
us?
I'm talking to you.
Wow.
Don't do that. I'm talking to you about the power that you have.
Okay.
I'm talking to you.
Okay.
You're my guy, but I'm talking to you.
Guys, I really appreciate
you my girl, but you've missed a lot of episodes of First Take.
She's violating him right here like crazy. Now, Jason Whitlock's going to weigh in, but this is this man's show. He's giving her a platform, and she's violating him. Now, to her point, he's probably not talking about the WNBA, because if it's not relevant to his audience, nobody wants to hear it. And I think Stephen A is feeling a bit attacked right now, because it's like, wait, I give you a space and I empower you to have an opinion, to share your opinion. And through my platform, I'm allowing you to have a voice, and you using my platform to violate me, to disrespect me in the public. You know what I'm saying? You're to criticize me in the public. It's one thing if we say, okay, let's talk about this offline, because I think more could have been done, you know, for you to help to promote the WNBA. But even in his promotion, it doesn't change the content, right? The point is, if there's nothing content worthy to watch, then what is he promoting, right? This girl is shooting shots from half court. We're amazed when Steph Curry does it. So to watch a woman do that at the level of consistency that Steph Curry does it, that's interesting. So that's content worthy. That's why it's more relevant of a conversation now that 3 years ago, we've been accustomed to seeing Steph Curry do it, and we think it's amazing and phenomenal when he does it. And now that there's another young lady who can do that, it's already hard enough that most men can't do it. But the fact that a young lady can do it at a similar rate, that's appealing. And people want to tune into that. It's not personal. And she's taking it personal and making Stephen A, you know, and kind of checking him, saying like, yo, you're not doing enough. And even in so doing that, she's in a way humiliating him on his own show. And I think that's not sitting well with him, because I think he's feeling blindsided by her energy right now. Let's continue.
You missed a lot.
Stephen A, 3 years ago, you would not talk about the W at this level. Don't do that.
Guys.
Nobody was, Monica. You making Stephen A point, Monica. Monica, you making Stephen A point.
Let me do my job. Please let me do my job. We've gone for 40 minutes straight. It was a riveting discussion. I have to get in a commercial break.
Molly's over it. Molly don't want no more of this conversation. She wants to talk about the next topic, because this is a zero-sum game in Molly's eyes. But let's continue.
I get that we are at a special place when it comes to women's basketball and the growth of the game and all of the eyeballs. I think what I was frustrated by in our conversation earlier is that we can hold more than one truth, y'all. Like, yes. The idea of some players being jealous, yes, that probably exists. But I think in Caitlin's debut, since she has made her debut, there's been a large and loud clamor or push, yes, that is Caitlin versus the W. Okay. And that is unfair. Okay. To me, yeah, jealous, sure. I mean, would you be jealous of somebody that got $28 million shoe deal or whatever the deal is before you step foot in the pros? Right? Yeah. I just need us all to do a better job of holding room for multiple truths. Jordan as a rookie, Joe, right? LeBron as a rookie, like Wemby as a rookie. When you look at guys that have gone on to be great, I'm sure they would not say their rookie years were cakewalks. Now, in the case of LeBron, and if we use Wemby this year, they have physically dominant and powerful statures. And so maybe that has allowed them to skirt some of the curve. But Caitlin is a guard coming from college. She got to get her weight up. The W has to continue to allow her to be one of the leaders of this platform, as Angel Reese has also been, because I know that's going to be a hot topic tomorrow. And so my whole thing is just, it doesn't have to be either or. It can be both. But the prevailing idea that it's the W versus Caitlin, and that these women don't understand the power of the eyeballs and the audience that she's helped grow the league to, that's just unfair.
Monica McNutt, like a lot of women, and in particular, a lot of Black women, lives in a constant state of delusion. A constant state of delusion. She'll hear this, people will write this all, oh, Whitlock just hates women, he's just being critical. No, I'm being honest. Something Shannon Sharp, Ocho Cinco, Stephen A. Smith, they're not in position to be the kind of honest that I am. They are totally dependent upon the system, the corporations, the sponsors, the entire feminist rigged regime. They're trapped by it. So they can't be honest. You just heard the rantings of a welfare queen. And you can't say that. If Stephen A. Smith had said that on air, he would be immediately canceled, and Monica McNutt knows it. That's why she is so loose with the truth. That's why she has no respect for the truth, and that's why she has no respect for Stephen A. Smith, and will come on his show and say anything she wants because she knows there's no repercussions. She has all the power. She's got the gun. Stephen A. Smith is the rabbit. But that's a welfare mentality. Let me walk you through and put some meat on those bones. This woman, first I'm just going to deal with her delusion. Welcome to the world of women, Stephen A., where you have to navigate your being and make sure every word is this. No, there is no governor on what comes out of a woman's mouth, particularly a Black woman. Particularly, there are no rules for Black feminist women. None. They can say anything, and there are no repercussions. They'll never be canceled as racist. They'll never be canceled as anti-Semitic. They'll never be canceled as homophobic. They'll never be canceled because they're a Black female feminist who supports all the ideologies that make you uncounselable. And so she knows it. And that's why she's talking so loosely on another man's show. Stephen A. Smith, whether I like him or not, he built that platform. And this woman came on his show and talked to him in the most disrespectful, condescending, uneducated way you could possibly do it. This plays out across America all the time. And I got to quit apologizing. Facts. This is what the dynamic that goes on between Black men and Black women, because Black women have a welfare queen mentality. Why do I say welfare queen? What league is she playing in? The WNBA. Who finances and pays for the WNBA? The NBA. Black men. And the owners of the NBA. They're financing the WNBA. The WNBA has been around for 25, 26 years, has never turned a profit, loses millions of dollars every year, faces no repercussions for that failure because the NBA is subsidizing this welfare league. And these women are completely ungrateful. How come I ain't getting more attention? Because no one wants to watch your failing league. No one wants to see a bunch of angry, mostly lesbian feminists beat up on each other and play a game below the rim. But her mindset is so entitled, and their mindset is so entitled, and we've allowed this delusion to exist so long. And not only must you subsidize this league, but damn it, we need to fly around on private jets to games no one's watching. We need to lose even more money on this league, and you need to pay for it. I demand it. Give me, give me, give me, give me. No gratitude that the league even exists off the backs of the NBA. Just like.
Okay, I'm gonna have to pause. I think I'm not a big Jason Whitlock fan. Let me start off by saying that. There are some things he'll say that make sense to me and I'll rock with. But there's a lot of things he does I don't really love. I don't love the fact that he hates on Deion Sanders. I think that's some sucker shit. I don't love the fact that he seems to have a problem with a lot of different men who kind of do their own thing, right? Like he's a hater most of the time. I'd say 60% of the time he's hating on somebody. But there are some times where he makes valid points. And I think just now he did make some valid points. The bigger point is, it's true. That league is not performing by the numbers. And for years, it hasn't pulled in, the type of revenue that the males leagues is pulling in. And in a way, the popularity of the male athletes, who happen to be predominantly Black, is what draws in the majority of the money because those guys play above the rim and they're exciting to watch. And the whole world wants to see those guys play. So they're able to kind of draw in a big pot. And it's from that the NBA is able to, put a budget aside to help this league along. Now, that's not to say that those women are not talented, because they are talented basketball players there. But I don't know, for whatever reason, it hasn't translated into ratings. It hasn't translated into interest up until this point, where it seems like now more people are starting to be curious about that league. Prior to that, no one was. And in a way, he's making a valid point by simply saying that these guys are kind of making a way for their league to even be relevant. But then he goes into a far bigger point about certain, about women having that welfare mind state where it's almost like an entitlement thing, where they feel like they deserve something simply because, right? And that goes into a whole other spheres and some politics in that statement. But there are some points that he has made that are valid in my view. All right, let's continue.
No gratitude that Stephen A. Smith has consistently put this woman on his show when it was her time to, like, hey, Stephen A., let me put you in your place. What did she do? Put Stephen A. Smith in his place. Let Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe know, nah, I got the gun. You're rabbits. Anything you say can and will be used against you. And so I just want you to think of the entitlement. I want to give you an analogy of just how far we've gone with this lunacy towards women, and Black women in particular. You've given them a league. You've given them television commercials, even though no one knows who they are and no one's in any real way interested in them other than Caitlin Clark. You're giving them shoe deals. You're bending over backwards, trying to make them relevant for more than a quarter of a century. And you know what they say? That ain't good enough. Talk about us. Even though your audience doesn't want to hear it and really only wants to hear you talk about one person, Caitlin Clark, Monica McNutt is sitting on national TV. No, talk about all of us. And you know what? You better honor and respect the Black women who carried the WNBA to financial loss after financial loss, to irrelevancy after irrelevancy. You better support these Black queens. They carried this league. That's delusion and a lie, and Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe know it. LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson, Tracy McGrady, Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant, they carried the WNBA. They're worth celebrating. Their sacrifice is why the WNBA exists. But you got this delusional Black queen sitting on TV day after day, and everybody else day after day, all of them. Andrea Carter, who I like and love, I wish she didn't play for the other team, but all of them, they sit there with this look of entitlement and this conversation of entitlement. And I'm gonna give. So you start out, and this is the path we're on as it relates to welfare.
This is shocking. This guy does not like Stephen A. Smith. They've been at a feud with themselves this whole year, going back and forth. And it's probably started way before this year. I mean, it just spilled over in a big way this year. But this is Stephen A. Smith's arch enemy, standing up for Stephen A. Smith because he felt that lady was wrong for disrespecting him in a way that she did on his platform. And he's raising a bigger issue because it's true. There are times where, ladies of my complexion can say whatever they want to say, and it seems like it's without cause, right? It gets a different look than if, a male said it. And it plays with this whole movement right now of the feminist thing and, this independent woman thing. I can tell you off or whatever the case. And he's making a valid point. and he's standing up for Stephen A. Smith, which is the shock of the century. It's shocking. I didn't think it was going to be possible, but so he must really feel a way about this point he's making. Let's continue.
All right, look here, baby girl. I'm going to pay for your food. I'm going to give you these food stamps so that you and your baby don't go hungry. I'm going to create Section 8 housing so that the government can pay for you to be housed at a very inexpensive price, and we'll even cover most of the housing. So I'm going to provide you with food and shelter. This is what the government has done. And then, we're going to provide daycare that's free. We're going to public education, so you have someone to babysit your kids and educate your kids. We're going to do all of these things to make it easier on you. The government, taxpayers are going to foot the bill for all of this. And you know what? You got to have a cell phone. Let me give you some free cell phone. Let me make sure you have access to Wi-Fi. Let me provide all these things. And so what the WNBA has said, their mentality and American mentality, the American culture, because we've created this welfare mentality and this debt that we pretend we owe women. Now the welfare queens, and you can see it in the WNBA, they're negotiating for 4 weeks of vacation and bought and paid for trips on Carnival Cruise Lines. That's where we're at right now. The people on welfare are basically saying, like, if I don't get a vacation here and a chance to decompress, how can I handle all these responsibilities I've created for myself? How can I handle these 3 kids I have with 3 different men if I don't get some downtime and a vacation? I need Carnival Cruise, you all to pay for my trip around the Bahamas so I can decompress. That's where we're at right now as this narrative continues to play out. That's the level of entitlement we have in the I need a private flight so I can fly to games that no one wants to see. I haven't earned it. I'm owed it. I'm owed it because you know what? I know you men made all these sacrifices. You risked your life. You died in wars. You did jobs we didn't want anything to do with. But damn it, you oppressed us and you mistreated us. And I need my 4 weeks of vacation.
Jason Whitlock is taking the conversation somewhere else. It's now leaving the stage of basketball and getting more into a societal conversation between feminism and the patriarch, right? It's this rift that seems to exist specifically in the Black community between their women and their men. And there's somewhat of a campaign to push the women initiative to isolate them from their men. And there's this belief within the community that men don't feel like the women appreciate them. The women don't feel like the men are, marriage worthy. They feel like the dating pool is horrible. And there's this rift. There's this distortion within the family. So his conversation now is evolving to beyond basketball. He's taking this example and making it a more of a societal issue. Let's continue.
And you need to pay for it. I need private flights. And you know what? I need you men, not women, because I think 52% of America is women. I don't need you women coming to the game and supporting me. I need you men coming to the game, and I need you to turn your shows and platforms over to us so we can talk about this sport that no one really wants to see. The same mentality. And trust me, in our lifetime, we will see welfare recipients demand bought and paid for exotic vacations. How else can they be happy? How else can they be fulfilled unless the government pays for them on their little Bahama cruise line trip on Carnival? That's where we're headed. That's where the WNBA is. Monica McNutt has the perfect name. She's a nut job. I want to play you this other nut job who we've allowed to live in this constant state of delusion. Angel Reese, play shot number 14. Angel Reese in this just clear delusion that we tolerate. And after we play this clip, I'm gonna tell you why we tolerate this delusion. Play it.
It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, like, yeah, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, like just because of one single game. And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
That's jealousy and envy and delusion, all mixed together. Angel Reese has done a couple of nice things, added some femininity to the way these women dress. Great. No one's tuning in to watch Angel Reese play basketball. She's not that skilled. She's not that good. She's an energy player. She gets rebounds. She gets puts back. But no one's tuning in to watch Angel Reese. It's just not happening. She's not Michael Jordan. She's not Magic Johnson. She's not Larry Bird. She's someone that taunted Caitlin Clark on a big stage. Those are the facts.
It's true.
But you know why we can't tell those facts in big settings or on corporate platforms? Because there's a group of punks that sit on these platforms. And punk's a strong word, but they are punks. And their bosses are punks. They won't allow them to say the truth. And there's a recipe.
Okay, this is where he's going back into his hater stuff, right? The guy will make a good point, and then he gets into his feelings and then goes way off point. So it's like a give and take with this guy. Because I feel like he got some personal vendettas. I think he was let go from Fox. I think he feels certain people should be elevated. He should be a thought leader and things of that nature. So you can start to see his own insecurities as he talks about certain things. So I'm not 100% on everything Jason Whitlock says, but he does make some valid points sometimes.
That they do. They pick uneducated men and athletes who are controlled by their smallest head, the sexually promiscuous, who have no self-control. And so they sit on these shows, either uneducated or they're sexually promiscuous. And so every thought that comes through their head is like, oh boy, if I say what I really think, these black women and these feminist white women are not going to sleep with me. And I may lose my job.
I don't know where he's going with that. It's a little random. All right. Brother jumped all the way off board with that. I don't know where he's going with that. And I think there's some parts of it where this dude's nobody's heartthrob, right? And I feel like he gets jealous, when certain men commands attention from women. Like Deion Sanders, he hates Deion Sanders because good-looking dude, accomplished, you know what I'm saying? Winning, people love him. That irks this dude for some reason. You know what I'm saying? Like he gets in his feelings about it. He wants to diminish Deion Sanders because he's liked and he gets, girls like him and he's the man. So I think there's a number of other personalities that's like that. The Matt Barnes and the different people who have appear with the ladies. You know what I mean? And I think that bothers this dude. So I'm not on whatever point he just made there, but there are some truth to the fact that there are some talking heads on television who do say things according to a narrative. So there's some valid points there, but the whole listening to their other head and all that stuff, that's just hate from a hater. Okay. So I don't endorse hate from nobody. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a cheerleader for haters. So I'm not on that point. But when valid points are made, I'll stand behind it.
It's that combination. If I get crossways with these black women and feminists, they're going to come after my job and they're not going to sleep with me. Because again, some of these athletes have so much money, it just shouldn't matter. And so what they're really protecting is their access to loose women. And so they sit there and know like, oh boy, if I say what I really think here and talk about how delusional Angel Reese is, these feminist black women won't sleep with me anymore. And these feminist white women, it'll be much harder for me to sleep with them. The groupies that I have access to, it's going to be much harder to get access to them. We're being controlled by our smallest head. We're being controlled by our immorality. We're not in position to say to an Angel Reese, shut up. You have no idea what you're talking about. You're delusional. People are watching these games because of Caitlin Clark. You're a nice little supporting actress occasionally, but you ain't got nothing to do with these record ratings and all of that. Yes, you play a little bit role, but that role is over. Yes, you taunted Caitlin Clark. It's a delusion that's embarrassing and can't be stopped. It can't even be addressed because these guys are all afraid. Oh, they're going to say I hate black women if I tell the truth about the WNBA. And then black women, when I go to the Essence Festival, black women won't sleep with me because, you know, I don't think they're Yah's queens and I'm not worshiping them. This is idolatry. Idolatry of women, sexual idolatry. That's why I talk about it nonstop. I want to, there's, and I'll get into it with Steve Kim about Pat McAfee and his white bitch comment that caused all these problems. But I want to show you Stephen A. Smith from this morning in full Deion Sanders backpedal. They got, oh, he's backpedaling like Deion Sanders. Oh, they got him. Monica McNutt and these gatekeeping black women and feminists have got Stephen A. Smith backpedaling. He now, there's, I think this is SOT number 12. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is him ranting about Caitlin Clark and just selling the racial deal and making sure he cleans up his mess with black women and feminists to know, and the whole Black Lives Matter crowd. Hey, I hate white women too, and I don't like Caitlin Clark, and you know her supporters are racist. Anyway, play the clip.
Caitlin Clark is white, and because she's white, and because she's considered box office and she's a star who happens to be white, that is why Eminem, when I brought up words like envy or jealous or resentment, whatever word you wanted to pick. I didn't say it in a negative fashion like, oh my God, it's a problem. I used the word justified. You know why? Because black people throughout this country for years have felt that level of ire because we know we've got to be twice as good to get half as much. We know we've got to extend ourselves. We know we've got to put ourselves on Front Street to have a shot at getting half. Pick a profession. Pick a name. Ask yourself, pick the biggest star. Pick the biggest star in podcasts. Pick the biggest star in television. Pick the biggest star in sports or whatever. That's black. And ask yourself the question that we all ask. If they were white, what would they be? How much money would we get paid if we were white? How much success would we reach? If we were white? How much endorsements would we get? How receptive would America be to us? Because it's still 60% of the population. And even in the year 2024, when the white populace in this country is dipped from 90 to 85 to 80 to 70 to now 60% and dipping, okay, even now, you have a situation where you get somebody who happens to be white and they're a star and they deserve the acclaim. They receive something we know we wouldn't receive on that level. Why do you think I say on national television, when white folks catch a cold, black folks catch pneumonia? Because it's always worse for us. There's always an extra challenge. We always have to go through more. It's not a secret. We get it. And so all I'm trying to say to you is when Angel Reese said what she said, let's read between the lines. Because what she's really, really saying is that this is really not a big deal. We're making it a big deal because of what I did and who I did it to.
Can you believe that? Do you think he honestly believes that? What world does he live in? Did Michael Jordan, was there something he's been cheated out of? What was there, did Larry Bird make as much money as Michael Jordan off the court? As anybody? Tiger Woods had the world by the tail, crushing it. Was there some sort of level of money or fame or attention that Tiger Woods was denied? Muhammad Ali? Michael Jackson? Chris Rock? I don't know who. Jay-Z? You got guys rapping pornographic nursery school rhymes that make millions of dollars. There's a woman called Sexy Red and another one called Cardi B. They have no talent. They're making millions of dollars. Oh, but the bar is set so high for us. We have to do twice as much to get half as much. Man, that's something Stephen A's great-grandparents experienced. Stephen A experienced that. And Stephen A is saying all of this for two reasons. One, he's trying to pressure ESPN into overpaying him. That's clear as day. Anybody can see that, Stevie Wonder. But two, he's trying to get back in the good graces with the Black feminist, Black Lives Matter crowd. He has to tell these lies, and women force him to tell these lies. These are just fundamental facts. We see it over and over and over again. The Black feminist woman has the gun. Black men are the rabbits. We run out of fear. We hop on talking points. We support their illogic out of fear because they have the gun. The welfare queens have the gun and can shoot and kill you at any time. Monica McNutt has a welfare queen mentality. Period. End of story. And I told you they install people like Stephen A. Smith because he's vulnerable. Do you know at any moment Monica McNutt could say, hey, bruh, we talking basketball. And I actually had a college basketball career and accomplished things in college basketball. You made it up. He ain't built for this fight, and he was put in the position he was put in because he's not built for this fight. He can't go toe-to-toe with these Black feminists. He can't go toe-to-toe with the white feminists. He's not built for it. His resume excludes him. He can be taken out at any time. He wrote a book full of pathological lies and exaggerations. He's installed. He's a plant. And so these feminists can run all over top of him. Not trying to take no pot shots at Shannon Sharp.
So much for what I said earlier. He went from defending Stephen A to taking shots at Stephen A. So once a hater, always a hater. This guy, he's not a fan of Stephen A. Smith. He's hating on him heavy, right? And he may have some valid points on this one in Stephen A's basketball career. But at the end of the day, I don't even know what point this man was trying to make. I thought he was trying to stand up for Stephen A. Smith, and now he's going in on him. I don't know. I don't know what your man is doing right now, but he's doing it. All right. Let's see where he finishes, where he takes this.
But when you have the HR history and the issues he's had, and his person not built to go toe to toe with them. And so men are going to continue to get slaughtered as these welfare queens run around with their guns and a license to kill. They got less accountability than the police. Anita Hill could come from out of nowhere and said, hey, you know what, Clarence Thomas, I know he's built a great resume, but I can shut him down and embarrass him and smear his name and cause great harm to this man's reputation with a 20-year-old allegation. Hey, Brett Kavanaugh.
This is a valid point. It's true. The whole Anita Hill thing, Clarence Thomas thing, guy who was running for the Supreme Court back in the 80s. They try to smear him, and they use this black woman to come in and say something negative about him being some sexual whatever, and yeah, some negative heat on him to try to prevent him. There was a smear for sure. Luckily, he passed it, but that did happen. And then the Brett Kavanaugh thing, there is a playbook to this thing with the whole sexual allegations. It's a feminist playbook, I guess.
I can take something that happened when we were 13, 14, 15 years old, add some yeast to it, exaggerate it, and 30, 40 years later, I can smear your name and nearly cost you a Supreme Court position based off of something I made up out of my head or exaggerated out of my head. They got the gun. Men are rabbits.
Fair point.
They're shooting us. If we don't hop on board with their delusion, they're shooting and killing us. It's incredible. And y'all sitting around thinking this has no impact on you. And hey, I want this black queen to get this job because she's going to look out for me. No, she's not. You think Monica McNutt is looking out for Stephen A. Smith? You better start making choices based on values, not on skin color. Because if she ain't got your values, if she doesn't think men are fit for leadership or that she will do a better job in a leadership position than men, she is your enemy. She will take you out for her benefit. That's what's happening to Stephen A. Smith.
Now, that point is a valid point, especially in the dating world. So y'all gotta pay attention to that. You just gotta make sure. I mean, look at Jada Pinkett Smith, right? Undermining her husband, who always tries to uplift her. She's undermining him, making him look bad, doing all this stuff. There are, men do have to be mindful that the people that they associate themselves with. There is a lesson in this. Like there is, as much as this dude's a hater, sometimes he makes some valid points, right? You just got to catch the little nuggets that he drops in some of the stuff he says. That men have to be careful. You have to be careful who you are around who you allow in your circle. You have to make sure that whoever it is you are dealing with shares your values, shares your principles, and is not gonna try to undercut you or take advantage and do all this extra stuff. You gotta move accordingly. And that's just a cautionary tale to men who's trying to do the right thing, trying to live a good life, trying to be respectful to women, respectful to their family, upright citizens. You gotta be careful. There's some piranhas out there who don't mean you well, and they will try to underhand, and play with you and take advantage of you. And you just got to move in a way that's mindful of the fact that these things can happen.
We done made the welfare queen the most powerful person in America. Lord have mercy. I'm going to bring Steve Kim in. Before I do that, I want to talk to you guys about our purpose, preborn. How many of you?
Okay. I think from this point, I'm going to switch over. There's one other clip that I saw that I thought was pretty interesting. It was from Cameron and Mace's show called It Is What It Is. They actually had a good perspective about some of the reasons why they felt that the WNBA wasn't as popular up until this point. And I think it was Maurice, the former running back for the Ohio State Buckeyes, the Ohio State college football team. And he made some really, really good points. I heard this earlier and thought to myself, man, it's harsh. It's a harsh truth, but it's the truth. And, I just thought he just brought a level of a perspective that I hadn't considered that adds further context to this conversation. So let me see if I can pull that clip up. I think it's like the first 10, 15 minutes of that show this morning. And I'll play that point, and then, I've been sharing my thoughts throughout. I'll open the floor up for anybody who wants to share and share their opinions on the show, some of the points discussed in the show, etc.
Bitches welcome, man. I bought jewelry and bikes, nigga. Black Benzes and white figures. Now I'm out here and I'm looking for more chandeliers and light fixtures. Now, I don't like niggas. What's wrong with me? I'm high, nigga, but this 44 turn to Michael Jordan. Now I'm looking, say, take flight, nigga.
Welcome back to It Is What It Is. This episode is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. The app is an easy way to make some cash just by making picks on your favorite players. Underdog is available in more than 30 states.
Which one is this one? Nah, this wasn't the show. Nah, this was the show.
Hello, y'all. I was selling crack on a private jet up in the hell and back. But no confusion, this a reunion. Hello, y'all. Welcome back. Get murder here. He counting money. He said, "Can man, the hell with rap." I'm only here to shit on niggas and piss on bitches. Welcome, man. I bought jewelry and bikes, nigga. Black Benzes and white figures. Now I'm out here and I'm looking for more chandeliers and light fixtures. Now, I don't like niggas. What's wrong with me? I'm high, nigga, but this 44 turn to Michael Jordan. Now I'm looking, say, take flight, nigga.
Welcome back to It Is What It Is. This episode is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. The app is an easy way to make some cash just by making picks on your favorite players. Underdog is available in more than 30 states, including California, Texas, and New York, just to name a few. Make sure to support the show by hitting the link in the bio and downloading the Underdog Fantasy app. They'll also match your first deposit up to $100, and you get a special pick when you sign up. I'm Treasure Wilson, aka Stat Baby, along with your host, Mace, and with our analyst today, Maurice Claret.
Stat, do that again. I didn't like that. Let's hear it again. Yee-hoo! Let's go, baby. I'm starting out with the guns blazing. How are y'all doing, Stat?
I'm great, actually. How are y'all?
Mo, what's going on, Mo?
All is well, baby. All is well.
And shout out to Cam. We'll see him tomorrow. He had some little trouble, but he'll be back tomorrow. What's going on, Stat? Fill me in. Pause.
Meet Maria. When she brings her kids to the YMCA after school, a funny thing happens.
A lot is going on right now. Okay, we got the WNBA, we got some heated debates, but first we're going to talk about a heated debate. This is one of the most trending things right now, so I got to get y'all's opinion on it. So on First Take, in a debate between Stephen A. and Monica McNutt when discussing WNBA, things got a little heated. Towards the end of the conversation, Stephen A. asked her, who talks about the WNBA, who talks about women, who talks about women's sports more than First Take? Monica then responded, Stephen A., respectfully, with your platform, you could have been doing this 3 years ago if you wanted. Of course, Stephen A. didn't take that very lightly, and they went to commercial break. Of course, there's more context to the clip. But when hearing that conversation, obviously there's a full story. What did you guys think of it? Maurice first.
Yeah, this whole discussion has been a super nuanced discussion about, many topics with people talking about the current and former players of the WNBA are jealous. But I think all of this goes back to one thing, and I think it's business and I think it's money. And there's a lot of people who don't want to be honest about, there was a lot of people who just weren't attracted to the product, be it the talent or be it the people who they seen on the WNBA floor going out there playing basketball. When I heard the statistics of the people who go and attend the games, they kept saying that it was single men who were the majority of the ticket holders who went to go see it. And I would imagine that these single men were going to the games to grab the tickets to either entertain their daughters, or if it's a cheap date or some sort of professional entertainment. But the fact of the matter is, and whether we like it or not, Caitlin Clark is a different marketable product. It's widely known but not really spoken about that the WNBA is a big lesbian league, right? And no matter how you cut it, no matter how you slice it, everybody isn't open to seeing masculine and aggressive women play basketball.
Whoa. What we're not going to do on this show, no, what we're not going to do on It Is What It Is before it turns into It Is What It Ain't. We're not going to bash the WNBA. So I'm here as a host, a consecutive host, to say Maurice's opinions does not represent the brand of It Is What It Is, but continue on.
So let me.
I have to put that disclaimer out there.
Hey, listen, look. So first of all, I respect where you. I respect you put the disclaimer with it, right?
Yes.
And I should have framed it in context that, okay, let me have another discussion, right? What was the beer company? Bud Light, right? Remember when Bud Light had came out with the transgender guy or girl or whatever it was that they had promoted and they aligned it with their product? Mm-hmm. They basically drove sales down on the beer because the mass public wasn't open to that. Now, I'm not saying whether I agree or disagree, but I'm talking about it's the same thing with the WNBA and sponsorships, right? This is just a better analogy. And so everybody, no matter how socially acceptable, and I know this is Pride Month, everybody wants to say that they love gays, they're open to everything, and that's a socially cool thing to say. But when you look up at ownership, when you look up at the sponsors who support this game, and you look at the people who need to align themselves by the superstars of the league, and then you have to put these people in front of cameras, and you have to do commercials, and you have to sell shoes, and you have to sell products, there's not a lot of people who are saying, hey, let me put my advertising dollars behind all of these people and these women. And now those are my opinions or my feelings. But when I look at anything and why it's not being supported, I just say, okay, from a business standpoint, who's going to put their marketing dollars behind somebody, right? And when you start to put your marketing dollars behind somebody, you start to say, who does this person appeal to? Or who does this girl? Who does this man? Who do they appeal to? And who can we sell a product to? And when you think about it, like, and this is widely known, they say the WNBA and all of the women, or a large part of the women, are lesbians. And so that's just my opinion on why that either Stephen A. Smith or a lot of the media didn't get behind it. So then when you have Caitlin Clark come in, and she's an all-American white girl, and she's very talented, and she's competing against Angel Reese, and you're making one the villain and one the hero. That's a storyline that people can digest, right? But then also when you're talking about people spending disposable income, right? You may say, hey, we have dads in the crowd that are spending $10 or $15 for a ticket and buying popcorn. But when you look at disposable income, it's going to be middle-aged white people who have it, who can buy a jersey, who can buy shoes, who can advertise a league, and they can get behind it. That's all I'm saying. So I know we were joking a little bit, but those were my opinions as to me disliking lesbian women or gay people or anything like that. I just feel that that's why you didn't have mass media or people getting behind the WNBA in general, just because you didn't have a superstar who you can push, or a lot of them you can push that probably aligned with the brands who can basically support and give the product sting, if that makes sense.
Recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that local recording.
That was you came in explosive. Pause, Mo. That was really crazy. I mean, I don't know what I need to say after that, but not that I share all those same sentiments, but I think when it comes to the WNBA, they are definitely playing down the significance of just female sports being portrayed the right way. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to, we was having this conversation before, if you want brand and dollars, then you have to be brand appropriate. And I think that's something that people are learning, especially with this generation. One of the things I've learned in music and different things, that you go further when your brand is clean enough to be marketed on different platforms. So there's certain choices that people are making them not as big as pause as they could possibly be, for lack of better words. I think when it comes to Caitlin Clark, they are being rough with her. I heard what Monica had to say, and I kind of disagree. I kind of disagree. I agree with the fact that Stephen A. could have done it earlier. He could have done it on a bigger platform and done it in a much better way because he has so many followers. So I agree with that, but I disagree with the way that they're treating Kaylin. If somebody came in and they were adding more eyes and more marketing dollars, why would you try to make that person not a success? Not that you should be helping her, but you definitely shouldn't be trying to hurt her. Can we agree on that? That all women should be supported, that all women should be protected. Black women should be protected. Latin women should be protected. Asian people should be Asian women should be protected, as well as Caucasian women should be protected. It shouldn't be an over-aggressive nature and an over-aggression towards Caitlin, because it comes across as hating. That's all I'm trying to say. I don't know everything about everything, but I would say this: it's coming across as hating, and hate is never good. I don't care if it comes from an all-star. I don't care if it comes from a Hall of Famer. When you're constantly trying to hurt somebody, you're hitting them when it has nothing to do with the play. Pause. That's hate. And that needs to stop. There's no place for hate in the WNBA, and there's no room for hate in basketball, period. That's what I would say.
Okay. I don't think it could have been said any better than what Mace just said. I think it's out of pocket for her to do that. I mean, again, reinforcing that all women should be protected. That is true. You know, there isn't one group of women is better than another group of women, but we got to call right what is right, and we got to call out what's wrong. What that girl did to that girl was wrong, period. Like, there's no justification for it. They had nothing to do with basketball. She was just hating on her. And it's wrong. I think Stack had something to say. I'm going to let her get a word in. Because, you know, it's good to get a female perspective on it. So let me play her part, and then I'll open the floor up.
And then I'm just curious. So, or Maurice, did you have another point?
What do you think about that, Stat? You a lady. What do you think about what I just said? Does it come across as hate when you're constantly being aggressive with someone and potentially to hurt them? Because you're not, it's not basketball plays. You're really doing stuff to hurt this person, and then they're saying that she's not being effective. But if I was shooting and people trying to swipe my feet, if I was shooting and people are trying to do stuff that could potentially injure me, of course I'm not going to be focused on shooting. That's dangerous. That's what I'm talking about. Forget the, you know, playing rough. It's a difference between playing rough and could potentially hurt somebody.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I do actually have to agree with what you say, because I think, like, there's just a whole bunch of narratives going around, and it's interesting because obviously the topic of conversations in the WNBA now is mainly resolving around Caitlin Clark and what she has to say and what's happening to her. And for her too, I just know the media has to be annoying, because even the clips that they post online are like when she's getting fouled, when she falls, when she, you know what I'm saying? It's just like the picture that is being painted. Like, she is, you know, doing her best that she can. She has brought a lot to the league. And honestly, like, through some players at first, like, some things I'm like, all right, some people are dragging it, but even like the stuff that the girl said about her yesterday, like, what else does Caitlin Clark bring to the table? Like, it does come across as hate, because it's like, what do you mean? What else does she bring to the table? Like, she's on the fever. They're trying their best. They did just, you know, get a couple wins the other day. Like, she's trying the best that she can for her team, but she is also one person doing the most that she can as a rookie. Not saying that the other teammates aren't contributing, because they are, but I just know how it looks. And I just also want to clear, because when I say my certain comments and get asked certain questions, people think that I'm hating against Caitlin Clark. I have no hate against Caitlin Clark, because she's brought so many eyes to the league and made me tap in more, way more than I was before, because I wasn't really introduced to the league as much until her and Angel Reese crossover. So I do want to make that clear. That was never a secret that I started watching more because of them, and that's the facts. So people are going to feel some type of way about that, but that's just what it is for some of us. But that's also why people who have been tuned in feel some type of way, because, you know, there are newer people tuning in now because of things like that.
Yeah, and to add on to what I was saying, if you look at one of the clips, the girl, the young lady you're talking about, she knocks Kaylin to the floor, and her big man on Kaylin's team comes and picks off of the floor. When people are together, you would tell the other person to chill out with what they're doing to your star player. That's what was supposed to happen here. So I really don't like that. It makes it look like a bunch of people are collectively hating on Kaylin, and I don't like when anybody is collectively hating on people. Me being a person that has been hated on for years, I definitely understand how that feels when you're just trying to be good at what you do and your talents have afforded you favor, your talents have afforded you certain notoriety and perks that other people are benefiting off of, but secretly behind your back, hating on you because you were chosen. You didn't ask to be chosen. You just did the job so well that people decided to put marketing dollars behind you. So I definitely, maybe I'm a little triggered by that, but I understand what she's going through.
I think that's the best way to summarize this whole ordeal. Sometimes there are people that, have a talent, they have a gift, they're chosen, and we have to check our feelings around it. If you're not that person, and you feel some type of way towards that person, you have to realize that your gifts is not necessarily that person's gifts. And just because they have a gift or they have a light or something on them doesn't mean you have to be in competition with them for that light. You know what I mean? Like, you can still be you and command your own attention, but you don't have to hate on somebody to make yourself feel better, to elevate yourself or your self-worth. And I think that's what's getting lost here. I think I'm about to call him Pastor Mace. Pastor Mace said it best. Mace said it best. He said what he said in that, hating on anybody is not a look. Even though I've said a couple critical things here tonight about some of these guys, I don't hate on nobody. I congratulate Stephen A. Smith for the success he's been able to get. God bless him. God bless him. So, on that success, I congratulate Jason Whitlock and, all the guys who are successful, who have found a voice, who have found a lane, who have found a purpose, and they're able to, command some sort of attention and monetize that lane and that voice that they have. That's great, man. I just believe that you don't gain anything by hating on people. To me, that's not productive. And that's why I take the position that I take on this issue, not to dog one group of people or to belittle a group of people. It's just to say hate is hate, and we need to call it out. You know what I mean? If somebody's doing something that's wrong, whether they're white or black, it's wrong, we call it out. If somebody's doing something that's right, whether they're white or black, it's right, we call that out and say, okay, we congratulate somebody for doing the right thing in these settings. We're all people, we're all children of God. And we need to figure out ways to not allow things to create differences between us. We'll find ways to be unified and find ways to celebrate each other for our differences and not hate each other for those differences. So that's all I got for tonight's show. For those who are not registered on the show, connected to us, I ask that you like and subscribe to the show, and also to share this video and to weigh in on the comments. Let me know what you think about this particular topic. I mean, there's a lot of different viewpoints here. Some people defended the Monica McNutt lady. Others defended Stephen A. Some people thought, she should toughen up. It's just a basketball play. And others thought it was a dirty play. I'm on that side. But at the end of the day, we want this to be open dialogue. I don't even want to attack the girl who did that to Caitlin. I really don't believe that was that girl's best moment. I don't know that she's a person of poor character. It was a poor choice to do that. And I think it would behoove her to reach out to Caitlin and say, look, I was in the spur of the moment. My feelings got the best of me and I did an underhanded play and I apologize. I think she should do that. I think it would show a lot of character. You know what I mean? You could still compete with the girl. You could still challenge the girl. You could still, be a professional and not be like this chippy, sourpuss person who's just mad that somebody else is getting the spotlight. That's weird. So that being said, no shade to that young lady. I think it could be corrected. You're not a horrible person. Life is not over. It just wasn't your best day. And let's just, moving forward, let's keep that stuff out of the league and out of that, because, this is just basketball. It's just entertainment. It's not that personal. You know what I mean? And I just feel like if we make it personal, it can go way left, and we don't want that to happen. So God bless everyone who was able to ride out this whole show with me. I know we had a couple transitions, a couple different clips to show, but I appreciate y'all tuning in. Until next time, signing out. Peace.